All your lives you've been building up to this, and finally here, into the darkness and despair of this godless, blood-soaked cavern, life as you know it will appear against the backdrop of death.
And you, Kratos, son of Scylla, long have you immersed yourself in the meticulous study of the vile horrors extracted from the dead. And beneath this foul, secret entrance, you will be tested. And it is within this crypt of the eternal damned, Brother Theodore, that your ritual remedies of Templar service will do you no good. And with a strength check of 7 is of no use, for the door that is slammed behind you has now sealed you into your own tombs.
Although I did enjoy George Hamilton's Dracula as well.
Yes, for sure. Talking cinema with you truly is like pouring perfume on a pig. Yes, well, before you two presumably start shitting the bed, let me reiterate some of my choices for our audiences just tuning in. Number 1, the critically underrated Vampire Circus. Captain Kronos, Vampire Hunter. Or Nosferatu, 1922, of course. The Hunger. And Dracula, 1958. Even though that surprises me sometimes as well. So there you have a selection of my recommendations. I'm wondering if you two even enjoy the vampire genre, or were you just a fan of monsters?
Actually, I didn't love vampires. I liked them.
I'm with you, Corey. I wasn't really a huge vampire fan or a fan of the vampire genre, but now I think about it, I actually go way, way back to vampires.
Oh yes, please. I'm sure the world is dying to find out about your journey into discovering vampires.
Corey, did you have Viewmaster growing up?
No, to be honest, fucking Viewmasters to me were like a really slow TV. Could not get into it.
I had Shazam, Bullwinkle, Jim Henson, you get to meet the Muppets, the Hulk, Pebbles and Bam Bam, but there was one that really, really got me as a kid, and it's Dracula. They recreate the Bram Stoker novel with these dioramas, and there's this one scene where Dracula has a stake through his heart and you can see his insides. As a child, completely obsessed and horrified at the same time.
Well, I had a very different introduction.
What got you into it?
Probably seeing like Frank Langella's Dracula on TV, and then I probably saw Bela Lugosi's and I was like, oh yeah, but vampires never totally did it for me. But having said that, there's a lot of great flicks.
Oh, Jesus Christ, now we're going to be talking about Frank Langella's Dracula?
The next progression for me, my cousin used to have a whole shitload of Tomb of Draculas. And I remember there was one issue when I just got it here. Yeah, this one right here, issue 24, horrified me as a child because I really had a problem with women in peril. And this one, look, Dracula's bursting into this, like, I don't know, strip club change room or something like that.
I don't want to go all Dr. Ruth, but what do you mean you had a whole thing about women in peril?
I just didn't like seeing women in danger. I don't know, something about it really creeped me out.
Well, you know what? It's funny because that was kind of arousing to me. Snatching women in the night, taking away, feeding on them. Let's be honest, of the monsters, vampires are the sexiest. It is that fucking transmission of fluid, isn't it? To be honest, whenever you watch a vampire movie, it's all about sex. It's like orgiastic. Vampires will suck anybody's blood.
Well, okay, well, Hugo, is it cool with you if we go into some of the movies that inspired us? And okay, we're not going to heckle you, but come on, man, don't heckle us too bad.
Fucking thrill me.
Corey, I'm almost willing to bet, like Hugo, some of the films that you're going to pick. And if we don't have the exact same films, I'm almost going to be disappointed.
Okay, I don't know if this is on yours, but my first one is Life Force.
No, wrong, can't use it.
No, you're not allowed to use that. It doesn't count.
Hold on, I knew you were going to say Life Force, and I was prepared for it. It has elements, but you cannot use that film here tonight.
I don't understand why. It's space vampires. We know that.
It starts off as a vampire film. Yes, they have elements, but at the very end, the film turns into a zombie action sci-fi film.
You're right, Hugo. You and I don't agree on a lot of stuff, but I'm going to say no.
When has this show ever been a democracy where the two of you vote against me?
Look, it's just not a vampire. They're not even sucking blood. They're sucking essence. It's a science fiction movie. Life Force is absolutely notorious. It doesn't know what the hell it is. it's not truly a vampire film.
Don't go away.
If we're going to do like vampires showing up in films, then why don't we discuss Monster Squad? Would you call that a vampire film?
Yeah, absolutely. It has a vampire in it. Like, vampires can do other things. Oh, you know what? I can't believe you and Hugo are denying me this. Like,
Listen, Monster Squad, Jesus Christ, are you serious? I mean, it's like Goonies with Frankenstein. For fuck's sakes, and Goonies had its own Frankenstein.
Probably one of the greatest portrayals of Dracula, in my opinion.
Good. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't even believe I'm listening to this right now.
well, listen, alright. I will strike life force from the record. I don't know how I've been overruled by the two of you tonight.
I'm very anxious to see what film you dickheads have next for us.
Well, Hugo, it's my turn. Corey, I hate to be such a bastard to you. We're just trying to keep this on the nose here tonight. I do have a film that I don't think you're going to disagree with, and that is Vamp.
Whoa, I love Vamp.
You got the immortal Chris Makepeace.
I hope he is immortal because I want those eyes to last forever. I don't understand why there's a song called Betty Davis Eyes. There should be a song called Chris Makepeace's Eyes.
Just got Chris Makepeace eyes. You gotta check this film out because this is about two fraternity guys. They're freshmen. They're trying to find a stripper for a party, and they have to go into a very, very seedy strip club. And yeah, lo and behold, Grace Jones is in there, and her strip club act is absolutely terrifying, reminiscent of something that was actually used in Dusk Till Dawn. Remember that strip dance she did?
Yes, absolutely. I just can't stop thinking about Grace Jones. To me, she is so mesmerizing.
Is it wrong that I'm actually more attracted to Chris Makepeace than Grace Jones?
You know what I want? I want Grace Jones with Chris Makepeace's eyes.
Oh my god, that is terrifying. Oh, Jesus Christ, that is the most scary thing in the world. Speaking of gay, what's Chris Makepeace's buddy in this film? He was in Elm Street 2.
AJ. Oh, who plays AJ in this?
Goddamn, what's his name? Oh god.
Robert Russler.
That's why Elm Street 2 is my favorite. Besides Freddy Krueger's makeup being absolutely awesome, I love the homosexual allegory that's going on in that film.
Something is trying to get inside my body.
Yeah, and she's female and she's waiting for you in the cabana. And you want to sleep with me.
Freddy, exactly, is why, another reason. We could argue that Freddy is a vampire, in a way. Is that night stalking somnambulist, or whatever? Is that how you pronounce that?
Somnambulist? I don't know. Oh my god, ask Hugo. Hugo knows the answer to that question.
Close enough for you fucking idiots.
Hugo, are you drinking?
Champs-Élysées.
What are you drinking?
C'était que jusque... Manticore, my own house blend red.
Hugo, slow down on the wine. You have to get to the end of this show.
There's a couple of people in Vamp that actually make this. Dee Dee Pfeiffer, Michelle Pfeiffer's younger sister.
Tough to live in Michelle Pfeiffer's shadow, though, isn't it?
I would love to live in Dee Dee Pfeiffer's shadow. I'd actually like to live in her underwear drawer.
I'd like to be in Gete Watanabe's underwear drawer.
What's happening?
My next film,
Oh, you're so cool, Brewster.
Fright Night, man.
Hugo, you're right about us, man. I do have Fright Night. I also have the Fright Night 2 combo.
I think Chris Sarandon is a fantastic evil vampire.
He's incredible. He's like an 80s version of what you would think Dracula is. And you could see, you could really see falling in love with Chris Sarandon. Like, you could see how he would, suck you in.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. He has, this old quality. He's not young in it. It's a bit of an old man, you know what I mean?
And then the show gets so gay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Because he's older in this, the seduction committed by older vampires on younger women, I find inherently creepier than anything else.
But that's what I was talking about earlier. That women in peril sort of thing. You're getting close to it.
You know what I can say is the fact that the women in peril thing still kind of gets me a bit riled up. But I think it's because I want to rescue them. But I also think I only want it to be age appropriate. You know?
Well, shit, I'm nobody's hero. But then Fright Night 2 reverses it. We have a female, Chris Sarandon's sister, that's coming back trying to get revenge.
To be honest, I kind of have no problem with the older woman, the younger man thing. It's not as creepy to me. Probably because I'd love to be, at this point, I'd love to be seduced by an older woman.
I think I'm pregnant.
I would love to be seduced by Tracy Lynn.
You're making my heart pound. It's the apocalypse, man. There are no women around.
Yeah, that's why we're obsessed with Chris Makepeace. We gotta talk about some tits and shit, man. Hugo, where are you?
Have a snack, have a Kit Kat, have a circle, have a square, and party, party.
Oh my god, man. What a lightweight.
He's passing out.
I don't think Chris Makepeace is gonna do it for him, though.
I'm surprised, actually.
Hugo!
Master protege.
Hugo!
I don't know where he is. F it.
Okay, yes.
George A. Romero Martin.
Okay.
This is a film that plays with the whole vampire genre. John Amplis, we don't know if he's a vampire or if he's like a very disturbed teenager that goes to Pennsylvania and lives with his hostile cousin. And he wants him dead because he thinks he is the devil. Is he a vampire?
No. And I'm gonna say that is not a vampire movie.
I get it.
Not as you outline vampire movies to me.
But the film is shot two different ways. Modern time, then it goes back in black and white, and you're taking it from Martin's perspective. And it is like a classic vampire tale. And then when we find out he doesn't have teeth, he extracts through drugs, and he uses syringes to take the blood out, and then he drinks it. He does think he is a vampire.
I think that's ridiculous.
As far as George Romero, a lot of people shit on his films after the Dead trilogy. I think that this is up there. I think that's up there with Knight Riders.
Okay, I'm getting to be a surly drunk here now. If I can't have life force, you cannot have Martin. It does not meet the criteria you said. It's playing on the genre, so is life force. Takes some twists, it takes some turns, but Martin is not a vampire movie. It misses too many of the marks.
Martin to me is a masterpiece. It doesn't have a lot of the action, and if you're expecting a lot of tits and ass, that's kind of a trope of these vampire films, you're going to be sadly disappointed. Martin, you should check it out. Awesome vampire flick.
As you should check out Life Force.
Let's agree to disagree to disagree.
Yeah,
To agree again to disagree.
exactly.
What's your next pick then?
I know you're gonna hate my next one.
I'm not trying to shit on you, man. We're just having a healthy discussion. We're celebrating the vampire genre.
Okay, well, then I think you're gonna debate me on The Lost Boys.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go.
What is wrong with this movie?
There's nothing wrong with The Lost Boys. In fact, I had it queued up, ready to go. I psychically read your mind like a vampire. I knew you were going to pick this film.
It had everything I loved, and it was scary, sleek, sexy, hip.
This is the most MTV vampire film ever filmed. Everyone is gorgeous. It's kind of like the darker side of Peter Pan, isn't it?
You're actually selling it when you describe it like that when you think about it. This is very generational. It represents a generation, as does every interpretation of Dracula. They always represent the generation of the time. Now, of course, there's always the classic Dracula, but there's always modern takes on them, right?
I agree. This is Joel Schumacher at his finest. Did I love this film? Oh my god, of course I did. It's got film in a name. And as far as I'm concerned, the Frog Brothers in this film steal the show, but it's completely ham-fisted.
I think Kiefer Sutherland should be like President of the United States.
I bet you got lost in his eyes too.
No, I got lost in Jamie Gertz's eyes.
Oh, ooh man. Yup. Let's get straight again. Jamie Gertz.
But now let's swing back to Jason Patrick.
Let's go back to Jason Patrick. Enough of Jamie Gertz. Jason Patrick is definitely a handsome man. You could see why they wanted him.
Can you do your best Diane Wiest face?
I've never been asked to have a Diane Wiest off.
Yes, let's have a Diane Wiest off.
There's like, hey, do your best Nicholson, your best Clint Eastwood. Diane Wiest? Where are you coming from?
What's your next one?
I'm going to go a little bit darker.
Oh, I'm dying to hear this one.
You're not going to argue with me. This is, in my opinion, the greatest vampire film ever. Near Dark.
Okay.
What do you mean? Oh, hold on a second. Okay. You just did it like some sort of like flaccid dick intro.
I actually chose Near Dark as well.
You've got Lance Henriksen, Bill Paxton, Tim Thomerson.
Bill Paxton is really good in this.
Jenny Wright is an absolute babe.
There's a fearless vulnerability in those eyes. You know what?
I'm glad we agreed on this one.
Jenny finds this character Caleb, and she actually bites him and tries to take him into the fold. A lot of these movies try to deconstruct it, and they don't show respect to the genre. It's like, they're daywalkers, or no. Everybody is a proper vampire. They can't go out at night. They have to feed on blood. It's just their methods. They're actually wandering vagabonds in some sort of like black spray painted van that just happens to infect this kid. Now they got to take him in, and all hell breaks loose.
It's kind of like if Mad Max were a vampire film.
It is the ass end of the American dream.
You know what? And it's funny, you say it is a good representation of vampires. My next movie, excellent representation of classic vampire lore. A great novel by Stephen King.
I knew you were going to pick Salem Lot. And I'm going to tell you right now, even though Near Dark is my favorite, Salem's Lot is the scariest movie I have ever seen in terms of vampires. The portrayal of Barlow in this film really does pay homage to Nosferatu, the vampire design, but sweet baby Jesus, man, when he actually shows his face, it is the most terrifying portrayal of the vampire I've ever seen.
I want to bite your finger. It's a Dracula game.
You're no bit. You're not supposed to bite people.
I want to bite your finger from Hasbro.
How can we talk vampires, both being from Newfoundland and Labrador? How can we not talk about Blacula?
Oh, Blacula.
And as my double feature, if I was in charge of this world, Blacula would be shown with Zoltan, Hound of Dracula. They're both about Dracula's manor. He's dead now. But in Blacula, interior decorators find Dracula's castle, and they find this African prince who has been cursed by Dracula, and because of their interior decorating ambitions, have unleashed Blacula. Which is incredible. And in this film, Zoltan, Hound of Dracula, the Russians have found Count Dracula's castle, and they have to go to Los Angeles, and somehow this Russian is trying to find Dracula's ears, and the best way for them to find them is to use Dracula's dog to hunt them down. Incredible.
Oh god. Best synopses ever.
Let's wrap this up here right now, because I feel that we've had an absolute vampire celebration here. Trying to bring it back to our level, as, you know what I mean, just beer drinkers vampire films. What's your take on comedy vampire films? If I were to say Once Bitten, or Vampire's Kiss with Nicolas Cage, which is an over-the-top performance. We didn't even talk about that film tonight.
The fact of the matter is, there are so many good vampire movies, we could probably talk for hours.
Going back to Once Bitten, you cannot argue that that is not a proper vampire film. Or even better, My Best Friend's a Vampire. Did you see that movie?
I want to get back to Lauren Hutton.
We could even talk about Transylvania 6-5000. My god, what a hot vampire portrayal. Kind of like Vampirella.
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Oh my god. You know what? I immediately started to rub my breasts when I thought of Elvira.
There's a lot of comedy films that actually embrace the vampire genre. And My Best Friend's a Vampire really actually played on the homosexual...
But please don't tell my parents. I think I'm missing something in the translation here.
What's the word I'm looking for? Euphemism, I suppose, for...
It has enough homosexual, homoerotic content. There's nothing wrong with saying that about vampire movies, man. Not at all.
No, absolutely, but I think in the movies that we celebrate in the 70s and 80s, AIDS became a thing.
Are we talking about the AIDS crisis?
Yes, we are. I'm just talking about blood related to the AIDS crisis. I don't know what vampirism represents. In different eras, it represented some sort of unseen force that was somehow subtly infiltrating our society while we slept.
You were talking about vampires as a representation of the AIDS crisis.
Night of the Living Dead is an allegory about America tearing itself apart, eating itself alive, communism, the invisible invader. But we can go back further to vampire film.
Conflicting attitudes about sex, race,
Delicious cereal. Chocula.
Music to my ears.
An invasion of American culture. It's sneaking its way in, and it's feeding
dismissed.
on. If you want to look at Once Bitten as a charming sex romp with vampires because of Lauren Hutton's tits, if you want to look at Blacula as a basic blaxploitation vampire film, that's your business. I'm just saying there is something deeper going on.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm laughing at is the is the fact that in the beginning you danced around it and now you've gone the other extreme.
I'm just saying that the vampire genre had something that was not really acceptable at the time, and there were consequences as a result.
What you're saying is, because it contains those elements, that makes it a great vampire movie, because those elements are a part of vampire movies. I agree with you completely. I thought you were arguing the opposite side until you just explained it. That's why I was laughing so hard.
Yes, I'm just saying that My Best Friend's a Vampire. It's not a movie about him being physically a vampire. It's him trying to come out. He's like, I have a different lifestyle that he's telling his friends, you're probably not ready for.
Wow, I'm his mother. I want to know what's bothering him.
No, you don't. Trust me.
I've interacted with people in a society that, are somewhat shunned. I am a vampire. I am coming out of the closet or out of the locker or whatever is going on. I am a vampire. I am a homosexual.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you at all.
Who is the ultimate killer of vampires?
You mean like Christians?
Yes, it's Christians that are trying to wipe out the scourge of vampirism. And what kills vampires?
Wood.
And what is linked to wood to Christianity?
The crucifix.
So I'm thinking that there is some sort of Christian agenda who was ever writing this to eliminate vampires or the scourge of, well, we're talking about reading into it, homosexuality. What kills vampires? A stake through the heart. It is wood, and it eliminates, and then baby Jesus is happy, Mother Mary. You get what I'm saying?
You're losing me a little bit now you're talking about baby Jesus. We encourage you to be gay, I guess. I want to be so not offensive that I think we should encourage homosexuality.
Get lost in Chris Makepeace's eyes, and if you want to be D.D. Pfeiffer's underwear, that's your business. If you're trying to drink my blood, I'm going to stick a stake through your goddamn heart, and that's a promise.
And we're not anti-gay.
Even the stake is a phallic symbol. It's a dick. Don't forget to subscribe.